Hey there, crypto traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Sunday, September 24th. I hope you're having a great weekend. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Ethereum and why I'm avoiding it like the plague. There's a number of reasons, but we'll discuss all of that and more in this video. Before we get to it, though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. As I mentioned, we'll be discussing why I'm avoiding Ethereum. There's a plethora of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with uncertainty. I do think that the way that Ethereum was issued was definitely illegal. If we look at the Ripple ruling and the fight against the SEC, basically anytime Ripple sold XRP to institutional investors, that was deemed a security, right? Secondary sales on exchanges and things like that were not deemed a security. And we know that Ethereum had disguised whales and, tons of other people as well that they sold directly to, which by, the Ripple ruling, that's a security. And we could easily see Ethereum hit with a lawsuit next. It could not happen. It might not happen as well because of the ties to all the Wall Street banks and whatnot. It's very possible that it doesn't, but again, there's a big cloud of uncertainty hanging over their heads. And there's a whistleblower that just came out as well, which we'll dive into here in just a moment. But I wanted to come on and do a public service announcement and tell everybody that, this isn't financial advice. I'm not telling you if you hold Ethereum, I'm not telling you to sell it. I'm not telling you to buy it, obviously. and I don't own any either. So this is for entertainment and informational purposes only. I'll never tell you to buy, sell, or hold. And you should never buy or sell anything based on anything I say or write because I am not a financial advisor. This is just my own thoughts and opinions. But before we jump into the details, make sure to give Power Group a follow on X, which is formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Again, Pow Group on X. The handle is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So there was some news that came out. There was an announcement by John E. Deaton. He's going to be representing. He actually has a retainer to represent Steven Nerioff, which is a whistleblower and was involved in the Ethereum ICO, the initial coin offering. And like I said, based on everything that we know from the Ripple case, Ethereum definitely sold illegal, unregistered securities. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but because of its ties to Wall Street, because of its major ties to all these financial institutions, it's basically, they're just sweeping it under the rug, and even Bill Hinman, right? But experts predict Ripple suit settlement amid treasonous insider leaks. So in a recent clip, pro XRP analyst Zach Rector expressed his belief that the ongoing SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is headed toward a settlement before reaching trial. Rector cited the improbable scenario of Ripple's executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson being allowed to call witnesses to the stand, including Ethereum insider whistleblower. According to Rector, this insider, identified as Steven Nerioff, has been revealing concerning information about Ethereum's initial coin offering and described these actions as treasonous. He also called Joe Lubin a crook, called him crooked, and called Vitalik Buterin, who was the founder, a liar. And as we know, Vitalik Buterin worked at Ripple, got the idea for Ethereum and smart contracts from Ripple. He worked there as an intern, right? And he had this obsession with Ripple, right, and XRP, and then he went off to create his own, right? But the way it was, they were even saying like, basically, we don't care about the U.S. We don't care about the laws in the U.S. because we're based in Switzerland, and they think they're, basically, and he's in Canada, he thinks that he's basically untouchable. But if you're selling securities in the U.S., which they definitely sold illegal securities, selling directly from the Ethereum Foundation to institutional investors and investors at large, that is, in my opinion, it's 100% a security, an illegal, unregistered security offering. And like I said, there's going to be a lot that's going to be coming out of this. Whether or not it comes to fruition, that's a different thing. But basically, the Steven Nerioff apparently was like kidnapped by the FBI and was told that, and I hope this video doesn't get shadow banned or anything like that, but essentially he was basically kidnapped and told to shut up. And he said he's not shutting up because, good will prevail. And there's a lot of bad that went on with Ethereum. If you look under the hood, I will not support this no matter what. I will never invest $1 into Ethereum. I don't care what people think. I will never invest in something that has this, amount of corruption and cloudiness over its head. Even Bitcoin, we still don't know who created Bitcoin. We know it was Satoshi Nakamoto, supposedly a 35-year-old male in Japan, right? But even Homeland Security in the U.S. said they met with the 4 Satoshis. So there we know it's a group of people. How do we even know it's good people? How do we know it's not North Korea or some terrible, terrible organization, right? I think it was the NSA, more than likely, because they own the patent to the SHA-256 hash. If you go to any website where it says HTTPS secured, that is the SHA-256 hash. That's military and grade encryption, and the NSA owns the patent to that encryption protocol. And guess what Bitcoin is secured by? SHA-256. So one can, basically connect the dots and put that two and two together, that it was more than likely created by some government or group of governments. And even Raoul Pal said that he believes it was the US government and the UK government, basically in cohorts, right? Which I think is very, very probable. So the lawsuit reveals JP Morgan also owns critical Ethereum infrastructure. So Ethereum has had major ties to JP Morgan. And if we take a look at, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, used to work at Goldman Sachs, right? This guy is worth millions and millions of dollars. And it's just funny how, they're basically there to allow the incumbents, these JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, to catch up, right? And the BlackRocks of the world. And we know that BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin spot ETF, which we know the deadline for that is October 17th next month. So we could see some information around that. But JP Morgan has huge ties to Ethereum. And as we know, JP Morgan has been fined billions of dollars for manipulating gold and silver spot markets. Billions of dollars they've been fined. Time and time again, they just get a slap on the wrist. And they even said that to their employees, if you invest or sell Ethereum to any of our clients or Bitcoin or crypto, you will be fired. And it was later on, and they said it was rat poison, same with Warren Buffett. And basically JP Morgan said it was a scam. Well, as we know, they were the ones buying the most of it during that same time. So unethical, right? Also, XRP Army, the XRP Army found clues of why Hinman gave Ethereum a free pass. So obviously he was working for a firm, right, that he was given basically $15 million. So he had 15 million reasons. So I'm not going to go into all of that as to why, but as we know, that is not surprising. That is not new information. And it just, if you really peel back the layers here, and if you really take a look at what's happening, it's corruption and manipulation and regulatory capture at the highest level, right? A monkey could figure that out. And then if we take a look at the chart here, in terms of technicals, from the low of the bear market on Ethereum, it was up almost 6,000% from the low to the high. And if we take the Fibonacci extension levels, we go from the high to the low, it's saying that our 0.3618 was met, right? And this is common to hit that level in a new bull market. And we're seeing a monthly EMA 12 and 26 bear crosses as well on Ethereum. We saw the bull cross here, where the shorter term was below the longer term, and then we went absolutely parabolic. But we hit our 3.618 fib extension. Even if we go back to, those levels, if we just zoom in here a little bit, if we just go back to those previous levels from where we are now, you're looking at about a 2x, right? 200% gain. So if you put $1,000 in, you'd make 200%. Who cares? What do you do? Not that, you put $1 million in, okay. Now you have a couple $1 million. But if we go to the 4.618 extension, you're looking at 300%. So again, there's not that much life-changing wealth here. And this was just at $80 not too long ago, right? $80 in 2018 at the bottom of the bear market. And then it went all the way up to almost $5,000. So where do you think the most likely scenario, where do you think the risk is going to be? Is the risk going to be not getting in and missing the move up, or is it going to be getting in and being part of this move down? Because we almost hit $5,000 US after coming off $80. So I would say the more risk is definitely to the downside, right? So there's way more names out there that offer way more risk, way more reward than risk. And I just think that Ethereum could be the next with a lawsuit. If there is no lawsuit brought against Ethereum, then we know that the world is 100% a stage and corrupt, right? That's just a cold hard fact. And unfortunately, that's just the world we live in, right? So if we can't beat them at their own game, we have to join them and basically just see what they're doing here and see what's going on behind the scenes, and hopefully intercept that money that otherwise would have been going to these Wall Street crooks, and intercept that for us and our family so that we can do good with it, right? But taking a look at the weekly time frame, we're not looking hot at here. The 10-week moving average is starting to curl downward. We're also very bearish on the stochastic and the MACD. Not to say that we couldn't see one more final rally in Ethereum. It's entirely possible. Maybe we go to 5,000, maybe we go to 6,000, but I'd be avoiding this like the plague. And we also had the bull cross on the weekly moving averages. I remember doing a video when Ethereum is around $600, and I said, this thing's going to go absolutely bonkers to the upside. And sure enough, it went to like $5,000 because we had the 50 weekly moving average crossing through the 200 weekly. When that happens on the daily time frame and it's the 50-day and the 200-day moving average, it's called the golden cross. When it happens on the weekly, it's like a diamond cross. I don't know what's better than gold. It's basically a uranium cross. I don't know, but maybe a God cross. I don't know what you want to call it, because this on the weekly time frame is even more bullish. And as you can see, when the shorter term is below the longer term, especially on the weekly moving averages, when that cross price was at around $600 and went all the way up to almost 5,000. And then we're seeing the opposite now with the 50 weekly above the longer term, the 200 weekly, and crossing down through it. This thing could easily fall back to $500 or sub $500 in my opinion. And like I said, the opportunity here I think is to the downside and to short this thing. But on the daily time frame, we did have a golden cross, but we're seeing another death cross. And we could see a little bit more downside, in my opinion, in the short term. But like I said, short term, I think we're bearish. Medium term, I think we could be bullish. Maybe we make one more final rally into the end of the year. I think the broader market, the crypto market, could see some short-term pain. And then medium term, we should see a nice rally into the end of the year. And then long term, I think stocks and crypto are going to enter a pretty brutal bear market. So that's what I'm looking at right now, and just really paying attention to these weekly moving averages. If we bring up, for example, XRP seeing the opposite, and we could see XRP flip Ethereum, which we know it did in market cap in 2018. Actually, XRP had a higher market cap than Ethereum. And as we know, XRP and Ripple are 100% transparent. They don't practice internal transparency. They practice external transparency. They release these quarterly public market reports, which they don't have to. They're a private company, right? But we're seeing the flip side of this, where we're seeing the 50 weekly rather below the 200 weekly, and seeing a bull cross here on XRP. Last time that happened, price went from 17 cents to $2, and this time we have legal clarity, the only crypto in the space with legal clarity. So let that sink in for the next bull market. What do you think is going to happen? But like I said, we're kind of seeing the opposite, where Ethereum's seeing bear crosses on the weekly moving averages, and we're seeing God crosses on XRP, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But like I said, I own 0 Ethereum. I own a crap ton of XRP. And I really don't care what anybody says. Ethereum is a scam, in my opinion. The way it was conducted, the way that Joe Lubin and all these people are so cocky, and they talk about even Vitalik Buterin admitted that the Ethereum Foundation sold tens of thousands of Ethereum, right, worth millions and millions of dollars at the very peak, and sold it off on retail, right? Is that the company you kind of want to be supporting? Absolutely not. I think it's a scam. I'm staying away, not telling you what to do, to buy, sell, or hold. I wish anybody who's holding it the best of luck. But like I said, I think that it very well could be next on the list for a potential lawsuit and facing the same type of charges that Ripple's fighting. And to be honest, I think they'll lose. And yeah, I kind of hope they get their day in court, because they deserve everything that's coming to them. When Ripple got sued, there were, Vitalik Buterin, all these people said, even Pompliano was mocking, XRP and the community and Ripple, the company, basically saying, good morning to anybody who thought otherwise, to anyone who didn't think that they could sell unregistered securities or something like that, right? In other words, just taking a jab. And then all these people, right, they just can't understand why Ripple makes any sense, or why XRP makes any sense. It's pretty obvious that it's the best digital currency on the planet, and the only one with digital clarity. So go on down there, let me know your thoughts and opinions. I know there's going to be some controversy with regards to this, but I'm staying away from Ethereum, the biggest scam in crypto. And I have no shame on saying it. I will never own a single Ethereum in my entire life, because I can't support scams, corruption, and manipulation at the highest levels. But going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Excited to hear what you have to say in the comments section below. We'll continue the conversation there. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. Have a great rest of your weekend.